All right, welcome back, everybody, to Pivot Point of View. I'm Destri Millsap along with Becky Pearson. And holy smokes, we have had two really busy weeks here. We had Dr. David Clark on last week. He's incredible. If you have chronic pain, go back and look at that episode, and hopefully it helps you out. What an incredible episode that was. Today, we're going to talk about what we've been up to the last couple of weeks. We've had two really big weeks. We got a lot going on, and we did the Fort Hays evals. I went to Fort Worth and worked with Justin, so we got a lot of stuff going on, and we're going to talk about it today. So, Becky, a little check in with you. How have things been going with 75 hard and the weather? Holy cow, it's been miserable. We just had an ice storm here in Oklahoma, so we're all still recovering from that. But it's going to be 50 and 60 tomorrow, so we'll be back at it for a couple of days. But how have things been going up there with you?
Well, things have been going great. It was minus 15 degrees this morning when I drove home from the gym. So just a little bit chilly. So going outside to do my outside workouts has been a little bit, definitely a mind game to make yourself go out there and do that. Because we did get probably about 3-4 inches of snow. It is pretty fluffy. So part of my workout was sweeping and scooping snow yesterday. And then walking. I went for a walk in my snow boots, so that's not very easy to do, but I got my time in. And chopping ice out of the water tank, that was a little bit of it too. So anyways, it's been challenging, but it's been really good. I tell you what, it is definitely making me way more mentally disciplined, and I've lost some weight. I'm definitely getting in better shape. I can see a difference in my progress pictures, and no, I am not going to share them with anybody. It is
You're only.
for my eyes only, for sure. But I can feel a difference, and I went barrel racing this past weekend. I felt like I rode my horse well. Um, it's doing everything that I've wanted it to do. Yes, I did have to start over once. I went to Chicago to be with Emma during her year-end banquet, and the travel and getting my outside workout in Chicago was challenging, and the water. So I just went off of it for the weekend and I restarted on Monday. But ever since then, it's been good. It takes a lot of pre-planning, like uh, going barrel racing. I stayed overnight in McCook. I packed 2-gallon jugs of water. So I knew I was getting my water in for each day while I was gone. It was so cold, we did get a hotel room. I shared a hotel room with my friend Keisha Palmer and had a great time, but I couldn't sleep. I woke up about 3 a.m. on Sunday morning. I went down and I asked the clerk to let me in the gym down there. I got my workout in before anything started. Um, so it just takes planning on your part. It really takes some dedication and making yourself do it, but it is definitely attainable. I did do a little check-in with our Facebook group, the 75 Hard with Pivot Point, and to see like who all has started and not had to restart. And I think there's maybe 4 people that have been able to hang tight through all this miserable weather and everything. So, kudos to them for not having to restart. And if you have to restart, you have to restart. I mean, the biggest thing is that you are better than you were yesterday. And some people have opted to go to the 75 soft for the time being, which is great. To me, 75 soft is kind of how I live my life anyways. So I wanted more of a challenge. And so that's why I did the 75 hard. So it's been good.
Well, you got a lot of honest people on that group anyway. If there's so many four saying, "Hey, we're still hooked." I mean, maybe them four are the ones that are lying too. Who knows? But good for them. Staying hooked. We just had my wife's family's bull sale last weekend, so we were up in the Arctic of Iowa, and it actually was nicer up there than it was in Oklahoma. And and man, whenever I go up there, first of all, they like to have a good time, and so I drink way more whiskey than what I'm accustomed to most of the time when I go up there. And then two, my mother-in-law and Jordan's grandmas are incredible cooks. So diet like non-existent. They had every type of pie and cookie you could even imagine. And I knew that once I left there, it was going to be a long time before I had those things again. So, and they weren't going to be making them. So diet
Mhm.
not good today and yesterday. Major sugar headaches because I cut myself off of the old sugar again. So. Um, I don't think it's a hangover. It's definitely the sugar headache. But holy cow, yeah, it's been full force. So if I seem a little delirious today, you'll know why.
You're coming down off of that sugar high.
I guess so, man. My body is like, listen, you give me sugar and or caffeine right now, or I'm gonna continue to torture you. And I said, bring it on. But I've been anyway, well, so a couple of weeks ago, our weekend started. We went to Fort Hayes and saw seven of their kids and did our evals, got them on programs, got their programs all lined up to fit each one of them. Let's dive into that. And man, what an incredible day. We had great kids. We had a lot of fun. We were speaking a lot of uh, professional jargon to each other, and they're like, "Oh my God, they're speaking a foreign language. What's going on?" But oh man, what a fun day that was.
It was. What a great group of kids. Like kudos to Guy Farrell. He's the rodeo coach down there. And I mean, he really has recruited a bunch of great kids. These kids were there on a volunteer basis and I mean, they were so open to what we had to present to them. And it was really interesting to me that so many of them had basically dysfunctional patterns and they're only, they ranged from 18 to 22 years old and they're already in these patterns from old injuries that they've had. Rodeo is a hard sport on your body, and especially if you're a goat tire, if you are a rough stock rider, I mean, there is a lot of wear and tear on your body, and these kids are already showing signs that there's some stuff going on that they need to address. And, thankfully, we were able to address them and give them a huge pat on the back for volunteering for this and to um, start to be dedicated to a fitness program to take care of their bodies, because that's their longevity. I mean, it's your body is your greatest asset. So you have to take care of it. You have to take your health and wellness serious, like your life depends on it, because it does.
Yeah, I mean that's why we always say your health is the pivot point to your success. I mean it really is,
Yeah.
and that's the basis of what we do. So being able to, and I thought it was fun. We did some of them two at a time and had a good time, and I think that's you know better for some kids going with another person and makes them feel more comfortable rather than going by themselves. And so, um, yeah, we saw a lot of things that are pretty familiar to us, and it was nice to be able to identify those and get them on the right path. I know they really like you with your corrective exercises. They might refer to you as Jesus and things like that. But
Yep, I got called oh Jesus a couple times, and no, I'm Becky. They are hard exercises, but very effective. That's why I like to tell people, like, yes, they're difficult, but they're effective. So what would you rather do? Something's easy that really doesn't do you any good, or you want to do something that is challenging, but it's effective. To me, I'd rather be challenged and have it be effective. So,
Definitely, that end result is way better than the alternative on
yeah.
that. Man,
And then
what?
we can track their progress. This is the other thing that was really appealing to coach was that basically, we know when they're logging their workouts as far as if they're, I mean, they could get on the app and just click that they did it, but then they're really just cheating themselves. But the cool thing is, because of the app that we have, we can keep track of who's doing their workouts and who isn't. And so that's been a really good thing for us to be able to, just see how it's all going.
Yeah, and so far they've been great. They've stayed hooked up and um, haven't had too many issues so far. So uh, it's been a really, really fun experience getting to work with those athletes and hopefully we get to work with them throughout their whole career. I mean, just keeping them healthy so they have that longevity in their career and
Mhm.
identify these issues early before they become something that's a little more permanent. So.
For sure.
Yeah, and then that day for me, that was quite a day. Uh, got up early, was in Hayes by 11, or well, I was there around 10:30, but 5.5 hour drive to Hayes, and then after we were done, we got done at a decent time, and I made the drive to Fort Worth to get to work with Justin on Saturday, and what a great experience that was. I mean, that was one of the things that like whenever you get out of grad school and you're looking at your career goals and things like that, I mean, no matter what people say, when you think of rodeo sports medicine, you think of Justin. And so getting to work with them and their team and getting to learn from them and from their experience was absolutely incredible. And I hope there's many more opportunities to come to work with them. I got to work with my good friend Tyler Overlander down there, and him and I tore it up when we were in North Platte. Man, we just felt like we owned the world. I mean, we just felt unstoppable, and anytime we're together, that's how it is. So. Um, really good to get to work with him again, and it was a lot of fun for both of us, and we're good friends too. So just a really good time to get to work with a good friend, but also get to spend time with them and just catch up. So
Yeah. So how did that work? You covered a day performance and then an evening performance that day, or an evening performance on Friday night, and then or how did that work?
no, I didn't roll into Fort Worth till about midnight, and so Tyler and I uh, we went and had a couple of beverages and talked about the stuff for the next day, and we actually had a double header on Saturday, so we had um, a morning performance at 11, and then another performance at I believe it was 7:30 that night. And so you got to be there a couple hours before the perf to get everybody ready. And then there's some people that have been, uh, in that bracket that have been injured the night before. But excuse me, the night before that we were taking care of, and then a new bracket started that night, and had new people coming in. So that was really good. Um, and just getting in the flow of things and being able to help out and add value and just all of those things. Um, I feel like everything up to this point prepares you for an opportunity like that. So even though this is kind of a deal where if you're grinding right now and you're not where you want to be, it's okay to keep plowing the same field and just stay ready for when that opportunity comes. That's the big thing about that weekend for me was, man, I had a lot of momentum when I was in Nebraska and was covering a lot more rodeo stuff. And then I made the decision to move to Oklahoma and mainly, I guess, to rodeo myself more. And I wasn't working rodeo, wasn't around working rodeo as much. But it was always in my mind that I was going to get back to that, and there's going to be an opportunity come. Little did I know that everything that's happened to me down here, from a professional standpoint and personal and everything else, prepared me for that opportunity. And so even though stuff isn't coming to you right now, just keep grinding, keep staying ready, keep being your best, keep making yourself better, and let all the hard times mold you, and be ready to execute when that opportunity comes.
Amen, for sure. Now tell me, so you've worked the high school finals and then now you've been able to, and you guys did cover like the pro rodeo here at North Platte, and you used to cover probably Burwell when you were in Nebraska, but like anything different that you noticed from to go to Fort Worth? Because obviously they have to qualify in order to compete at Fort Worth. It's not just open to everybody, I think, right? I think it's a qualified or a limited entry rodeo. So anything you really noticed from back either, when you did rodeos, pro rodeos here in Nebraska, high school finals versus what it was like in Fort Worth?
Well, I would say, one of the main differences for me was just the guys that were working sports medicine at Fort Worth were like the top dogs. I mean, the top people in the Justin program were there, that were in that area, and so getting to see how they function. I mean, they have so much experience that, I mean, you just can't even replicate somebody with that much experience, and there's no substitute for it. So getting to work with them and watch how they do certain tape jobs, make neck rolls, some of the, how they manage the injuries and everything else. Because, like we talked about, um, rodeo's different because this is their livelihood. And so making those decisions as far as whether you can compete or you can't look a lot different at this level. And so how they would manage those injuries and get people ready is a completely different ball game, and so awesome to get to be a part of that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And
So
just like, how they cover. I mean, we had a lot of help, and so, their strategy on how to cover the arena and make sure the alleyway for the barrels is covered, and because there's stuff that can happen in that alleyway even during the grand entry and stuff. I mean, it was very detailed. They had an emergency action plan, for the grounds, and every, how the every event, really, like where stuff was at. This is what we do if this happens. I mean, it was very detailed. They sent all that information out in advance, and I was able to look over it. And then we had a safety meeting 15 minutes before the rodeo to just go over the protocols and make sure everybody knew where they were going and what their jobs were for the performance. And it just had a really great flow to it. And you can tell that, these guys, again, with their experience and how things are run, um, it's unbeatable, and it runs like a smooth oiled machine. And so it was really easy to be able to step into that part of it and be a part of that program for that day, because their systems and how they do stuff is so straightforward that there's really no question on what you need to do.
yeah, and that's just a great testament to having a great program. When you have systems in place that everybody knows what needs to be done, and you plan for contingencies and you plan for all that, it's easy then to, you know, be able to do what you need to do when you're very clear on the purpose there. So that I'm glad that was a great experience. I hope you get to do it some more. And I'm sure you will be able to. That'll be great.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to getting to work with them more, and again, it was a great experience. And Dickey's Arena, man, it's set up for rodeo, and so it's set up for us too. And we had a huge training room, tons of room to do what we needed to do, and I mean, it was just a great setup too from an arena standpoint. So really, just a win all the way around.
Cool. Cool. That's exciting.
Yeah, and then I got to go home after that. Drove home on Sunday and as soon as I got home, was able to ride one of my own horses. So really just can't beat a weekend like that where like we've talked about multiple times in the past couple of weeks, the weather just, oh my God, it's just a horrible time of year. And as far as like trying to go out and ride and be productive and everything else, and but you get home, it's a nice sunny day. I was able to get some horses rode and just start getting my horses back in shape for the spring, and just
Mhm.
man, what a great weekend that was.
Yeah, yeah, it was a phenomenal weekend, and I ended up then starting my Monday. I went up to Chadron, Nebraska, and I met with the ladies that Jayde Trump, we've had Jayde on as a guest. She does a ladies' night out where she gets ladies that are interested in like the rein cow horse stuff and the like working ranch classes, or if they're just wanting to ride with a bunch of ladies. And so it was bitterly cold that day, but we got up there to Chadron, and it was so fun. I rode with those ladies and I got to ride Jayde's cool horse that she calls Silverado. She has him for sale. He is in Fort Worth, I think, right now as we speak. And he is so broke. And so she had us doing things. She had us doing like uh loping over the log, which you just try to get right over them. And I had no idea, like I am not a rein cow horse person, but like when they lope over the log, you get judged like, are both front feet going over, and is it smooth, and like they're not like jumping over them, or do they split like their front feet on the log, so one is forward and one is back. So she had us do that until we got that right. And then flying lead changes. And yeah, I looked like a stud on this horse because, of course, he is just so broke. So it was so fun. The other ladies are on, little greener horses. And so the first time I did flying lead change, she said, okay, so you're going to shift your weight and then you're going to smooch, and then he should switch. And well, I shifted my weight, probably not enough, and I smooched and he didn't quite get it. So then I went right to the spur, and he's pretty feely, and he gave this big old hop when he did the lead change, and I think I squealed, it was just so fun. And she just laughed and she's like, "What happened there?" I'm like, "Well, I think I went to the spurl and I should have went maybe to my calf before that." But so then I got to do it again. And yeah, I did a little better the next couple times. And then she had me take him into a spin, and wow, like and Jayde is such a great teacher. Like if anybody listening, Jayde does virtual coaching with kids, especially for pole bending, and she does a phenomenal job. She can analyze your videos, and I mean, she sees such great things. But so she's such a good coach, and she's like, okay, you've got to spin him because that's like one of his greatest attributes. And she goes, now I want you to lean to the inside when you get started. And the reason why, because centrifugal force took over. And I mean that sucker, I was towards the outside by the end of the time I got done spinning him. He was so fun. I think, that's like a bucket list thing. Like if I had unlimited money and unlimited time, I think I would love to get into the rein cow horse event. I just think it is like we've said before, poetry in motion. It is just beautiful, the things that they do. I'd love to take a horse and a cow down the fence and turn it. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Absolutely, just getting outside your own discipline and doing something different is always a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Uh, even if you have a operator error.
100%
What
operator
are you,
error. I mean,
my horse?
it was so good. He was so good, and he just tolerated me. So, but he would make you better. And, like Jayde could coach on anybody to get that horse, to go win on that horse. He's just very nice horse. So I hope she finds just the perfect home for him. So yeah, I got to talk to Jayde's ladies after we got done about just what we do here at Pivot Point, working with them to, address their limitations, their weaknesses, their tightness, their pain, so that they can ride their horses better, and able to get a couple of those evaluated that day. And then I'm going to meet up with a couple more here to come. So it was definitely a very, very busy week. And then I ended the week at the barrel race in McCook and got to see a lot of people down there. It was really fun. Helped a gal with SI joint issues, helped a gal with shoulder impingement, meniscal, gal that has a meniscus tear. Gosh, what else? I mean, it's been a whirlwind. On my way to Kansas, I seen a gal that had an ankle sprain and got her on a whole body program. Shout out to Ashley. She's in the 75 hard program as well with us. So the ankle issue was challenging for her to manage, but we got her on a program, and she's a pretty cool gal too. So, and got to see my good friend Deb Christie, who just went through a total knee replacement. She's been on the program here. She's doing great. She texted me this morning. She's getting full range of motion back. So, yeah, we are busy, and it is so much fun. So much fun.
Oh yeah, I love Deb Christie. She's great.
Yes.
Just right. Yeah. I mean, tons of stuff going on. Big spring coming up, and lots to look forward to there as well, with high school rodeos on the horizon and things like that. There's always a lot going on. So
Yeah. So I've done a couple social media posts that I feel like we can offer discounts to high school rodeo kids if they want a program like preseason conditioning. Basketball is just about over for us. Unfortunately or fortunately, we're not going to probably make it past our first round in sub districts. So really makes me sad.
yes.
Uh, but if kids are rounding out their basketball season and they want to get on a strength training program before rodeo season starts, it's a great time to get a hold of us. We can do virtual evals. Destri's come up with some great programs for goat tires, for tie down ropers, for rough stock riders. I mean, you name it, we got a program for you. So I would like to offer, I haven't cleared this with you, Destry, but I think we could offer them uh like a 10% discount for any kids that sign up here in the next we'll let's make it last until middle of March, or at the end of March. We'll go to the end of March. How's that sound?
Oh yeah, anything to help these kids. I mean, that's a no-brainer. And yeah, we usually think alike anyway, so it always really good. But yeah, definitely get these kids ready for the season, and we wish everybody a great season. It's a very big thing for these kids, man. I mean, high school rodeo did so much for me when I was in high school, just from a lot of different standpoints, and was able to have a little bit of success too on top of that. And there's nothing worse than somebody saying, "Man, you can't compete because you have this injury or this condition or anything like that." So anything that person can do to ward off those injuries, or if you're, if you were sitting in an alternate position or in fifth through 10th, maybe it's an opportunity to get yourself in the top four and get yourself to nationals too. I mean, there's no experience like high school nationals for a high school kid, and I mean those are some of my most fondest memories is going to Gillette and not so much Springfield. Springfield was not as fun, but it's still nationals, and I didn't do very good there. Springfield's not really a rodeo town, but Springfield, Illinois. Um, but anyway, uh, just making the finals and getting to compete against the best in the nation. That's what it's all about. And you'll do anything to get yourself there. I know I didn't have anybody helping me with anything. I'd go work out with the football coach 3 times a week at 6 a.m. and he'd just be in there and doing his deal, and he'd have programs, and so I'd pick one and do it, and stayed hooked and had success. So
And we've talked about it before, like the reason that I think a lot of parents love their kids doing rodeo is because it teaches you so many life lessons that you just don't get when you're in maybe a team sport. I mean, it is completely on you and that horse to get it done in the arena, whether it's a timed event or a rough stock, I mean, it's really truly, you have to have that discipline. You've got to be able to mentally overcome challenges that just are not going to get thrown at you in other areas of life, I think. And so, it's and no matter if a kid was born with a silver spoon in their mouth, that don't matter. I mean, that horse does not care. That steer does not care. That bull does not care. They don't care who you are. And so it is totally on you to go out there and do what you need to do. And like I said, I've talked about this before on here, as Emma was a young girl and trying to teach her how to ride and understand what I was trying to, get at her. Yes, one time I got on behind her she was in the saddle, I was behind the saddle. I put my legs over her legs or my lower legs over her lower legs and my hands over her hands. And I'm like, this is what I want you to do to feel. This is what I mean when I say lift here. This is what I mean when I say inside leg, and and then you get off and I said, I can't ride him for you, Emma. You've got to figure that out. You've got to figure out what you have to do with your body to make that horse do what you want with his body. And so it's such a great opportunity for kids to gain confidence, and gain just like experience like no other thing on earth can give them. And so, kudos to the parents out there taking your kids, hauling your kids all over God's green earth. And it's Lord knows it is expensive and totally consumes your life during that time, but we do it for the kids. And so I just want to give parents a lot of credit for that, because it is a great thing to do for your kids.
yeah, it's a grind, and look, anything can happen. I mean, you could be on a injury prevention program and still, have something happen and get hurt. I mean, rodeo. It's more about when and how bad rather than if. And so, and we understand that. Man, we want to give kids every chance they can to rule out any unnecessary injuries and also just be able to be at their best and be able to compete at the highest level that they can.
Absolutely. So looking forward in their next month or so, I know I've got a couple races coming up again in McCook. I'm going to go to a Reined cow horse event in McCook, set up a booth. And I know I have some virtual evals scheduled. How about you? You got some events coming up, Destri? Or are you going to be busy with basketball and things at the high school?
Yeah, we're in our overlap season right now with basketball and baseball coming on strong, so going to be pretty hooked up with that stuff for especially until spring break, and then we'll get a little break there. But no, it's exciting. I'm excited for baseball season. Our basketball teams are really strong right now and having good seasons themselves, and so looking like they could be state tournament bound and hopefully the boys can repeat and the girls can get them one too. So that'd be that'd be the best way to end this winter time in the March Madness. But baseball, man, it's a marathon of a season and it's busy, but it's a lot of fun. And we got some help now, so hopefully I can get to go rope a little bit and by the time May rolls around, I'm gonna be ready to go. I mean, hopefully I can go a lot this year and I've kind of taken the last year to really try to focus on um these virtual coaching and stuff like that and hone that in, and I feel like we're getting a good handle on it and good things are happening there, so I can get back to roping more, and I got a colt coming on, so yeah, looking forward to a lot, man. I mean, 2025 is in its early stage, and I just can't wait to see what keeps coming on for us.
Yeah. If anybody wants us to be at an event, they can sure reach out. I don't know if we'll be able to make it work with our schedules. I do know I'm going to try to make it to Leoti, Kansas, for Mother's Day weekend for that Extreme Cowgirl Challenge. We talked to CJ Garland about that. So if you're into that type of thing or you want to go to Leoti, Kansas on Mother's Day weekend, it sounds like that's going to be a pretty fun event. A lot of the ladies that were up in Shadron, they've formed a team. They're going to be there, so that'll be cool to connect with them. And and then yeah, when it comes to April, I will be pretty much high school rodeo in it every weekend except for that weekend that I'm going to go to Leoti. So if anybody needs anything in Nebraska during that time, they can sure catch me at a high school rodeo on a weekend. Or thankfully now I am 100% doing pivot point, and so if you need me during the week, I hopefully can hook up with people during the week to get them seen. And if a person also you want me to come to your area, just message me. If there's a few of you that I can see to make the trip worth my while, I would love to do that. So getting a lot of people down in Kansas, which is really fun. It's been really good. And they're so dedicated. The people that I've been seeing in Kansas, I mean, they're loving this stuff. So it's fun to be able to do that.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening, and thank you as always for your support. We really appreciate it, and hopefully you get a lot of good out of this. And if you're on a program, that too. So if you ever need anything, feel free to reach out to us either on social media or get our number from somebody. We'd be happy to help you. So as always, let your health be the pivot point to your success.